Thanks. Thanks, David. I appreciate it. I appreciate yourself and Grace setting up this opportunity for me. And thank you for everybody joining this morning, taking some of your valuable time to learn about RatePlug. We have been working with North Star MLS for many years. We've got about 4,100 plus agents actively using RatePlug to help them with their buyers and with their with their lender relationships. So we will keep this concise, as David mentioned. A very simple program, easy to use, and hopefully you'll like what you see. As David mentioned, we'll answer some questions at the end if you have it, and I'll also be sharing with you some additional resources, a landing page where you can learn more about RatePlug if I'm speaking a little bit too quickly or if I skip over something. It's a great resource to go to. And ultimately, if you decide you want to participate, that would be the landing page where you would go to enroll. And then you can contact us through that website as well if you have a question after this is over with that you'd like to get some answers to. So my name is Rob Springer. I'm one of the owners and founders of RatePlug. I'm also the marketing director. We're a small tech company based out of Chicago, but just to give you our quick background on the genesis of the RatePlug program, we come from a family that was in mortgage origination here in the Midwest. We were the first licensed mortgage originator, first licensed mortgage brokerage in the state of Illinois back in the 80s. My father and my older brother started that. We're family-owned business. I got two brothers, sister, some nieces and nephews working here, but we got out of the retail origination side because we were working with obviously a lot of agents through our retail loan officers, and back in the day it was the way to build relationships was dropping off rate sheets in person at an office or a candy jar to put on a desk, kind of old school ways to do it. And we found that we had a knack for bringing technology to agents. Again, you got to remember this is the late 90s when we started working on this, the early 2000s when we created RatePlug. But we started a program with MRED here in Chicago, a local MLS, and we were able to incorporate lending information directly into property listings that agents were sharing with their buyers. So when somebody's looking at a home, they can see real-time examples of what a mortgage payment would be from A to Z, from principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, for a variety of different mortgage programs that are offered by the agent that is sharing the listing. It's offered by their loan officer. So it was kind of a seamless way for those agents to promote not only the affordability of the property through the payments, but also introduce their loan officers that they trust to work with their customers. So we got out of the origination side of things and focused wholly on technology, came up with the company RatePlug, hence the name, plugging in rates and products into the MLS system, and we were off and running. So right now we're in about 71 MLS markets across the country. We've got an audience of about 800,000 real estate agents across the country. Of that, about 140,000 or so is using our program actively every day to interact with their buyers and provide that affordability information. So what I'm going to do today is just cover the features of RatePlug. Again, it's fairly simple. No new system for you guys to use or new logins, anything like that. It's all built directly into the MLS system. And then we'll open it up to questions after that. So with that being said, let's see if we can get the slides to advance. There we go. Obviously you guys have lived through some interesting times over the last number of years, back to where COVID hit and you weren't doing business face to face as much, but then the interest rates went up and inventory's down. So the bottom line is that affordability is still, I would say, the number one thing on buyers' minds nowadays, because of the fact that interest rates, while they're not as high as they have been in the past, they still aren't back down to that 2-3% rate that we hit for a little while. Inventory is low, so it's tough to match buyers with properties. But underlying all that is you have a lot of younger buyers and first-time home buyers and that don't have the financial resources to maybe walk in and put a sack of money on your desk and buy a home with cash. The stats you're looking at here on the screen aren't earth-shattering. Everybody knows these. 9 out of 10 buyers do need to get a mortgage, so the financing aspect of it is crucial. The majority of home buyers in the 22 to 56 age range don't have a large down payment, so they're looking for creative ways to finagle or get into that mortgage, which would include obviously mortgage insurance or special financing options, which we do offer that as well. Third bullet, which is kind of shocking again with those higher interest rates and the way the home prices have gone up, is that the median income across the country, using that as a factor, only 33% of the listings are what they would call affordable to people that have that median income. So it illustrates a clear need for guidance as far as, what a house is going to cost. And by cost, I don't mean it's a $400,000 home purchase price. As we all know, there could be 10 properties with the same list price, but the monthly payment may vary greatly by the taxes, by assessments, and other factors that may go in specific to that property. So they need to know what their expected monthly outlay for that property is going to be, and RatePlug is a great solution for you to provide that information up front when they're looking at properties, introducing your lending sources. So if they need guidance or questions, answers, that's provided to ultimately eliminate some of those pre-closing fallouts and issues that always tend to jump up. So RatePlug will be a great resource for you to give your customers something of value that they can't get. If they're looking at Zillow or these other sites, they don't have access to that stuff. So you can tell them you're providing them with some valuable information that they cannot get elsewhere. The last bullet there, that's again based on rates. Hopefully rates will continue to go down, or are expected to go down once we get out of this, out of the war in Iran and so forth. But just an eighth or a quarter swing in an interest rate can dramatically affect what somebody may qualify for as far as their monthly payment and so forth. So having that financial information when they're looking at properties will be very helpful to your buyers moving forward. So real quickly, how does RatePlug work? As I mentioned, we're already built into the MLS system at North Star MLS. So it's not an outside system or software or app or anything you need to use or provide to your buyers. It's going to be built right into your daily interaction that you have with your buyers currently. If you opt into RatePlug, and again, I'll explain that situation or that process a little bit later, you would invite your loan officers that you work with to participate with you. We would reach out to those loan officers, get them enrolled and so forth, get them set up. And then as you send property listings to your buyers, they would then have access to what we call our RatePlug displays, our payment displays when they're looking at those properties. So that's all done automatically behind the scenes. Then you have to do nothing other than just continue to send those listings to your buyers. So the couple aspects that I'm going to talk about are the actual MLS integration, the marketing portion of it, and some alerts that you guys do receive regarding the financing that will help you when you're talking to some of your buyers. The first one being the MLS integration. If I'm not mistaken, I think North Star MLS has a couple different systems that they use. I know they use the One Home system, and then they might use Flex or Paragon, one of those other systems. Good news is that we're incorporated into all three of those. I'm showing the One Home example because that seems to be the most popular, and it's just a great one to use as an example of how we are bringing that payment information into your buyers. What we do, again, is if you're sending out 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes in whatever city to your buyers, on every one of those listings that you send out, since you are initiating that process, we know that you are sending those listings out so we can funnel that RatePlug display in the listing information to that buyer. They would see not only just the pictures, descriptions, all that other fun stuff, mapping. They would be able to open what we call the RatePlug blade, the payment blade, and open that up. It would have your lender's information, and by lenders, I mean we can display more than one. If you just have one you use, great. If you have 2 or 3 you use, we do have the ability to display all 3 of those, where they can look at each lender's different mortgage products and rates. But kind of put yourself in your home buyer's shoes. They're at home receiving these listings, looking at these properties. They're able to look at the property pictures and they like it, but they want to determine what it's going to cost them on a true monthly basis. Using our display, they'll see almost to the penny estimations on, and again, it's kind of a small screen. I apologize, you might be able to read it. But what this is showing is for a variety of different mortgage products. This is showing a 30-year fixed, a 15-year fixed, and a FHA. It's showing them what the monthly payment would be using real interest rates from your lender. So it's an actual payment. We're going to take the taxes directly from the MLS listing. We're going to estimate The homeowners insurance using national providers across the country. If they indicate that their down payment is going to be less than 20%, we'll bring in that mortgage insurance estimate. So they're getting an almost to the penny estimation of what their monthly payment would be. This is all interactive, and by that I mean that they can go in and change some parameters such as the purchase price or their down payment amount, and calculate the display to fit what their exact financing needs are going to be. We also offer down here at the bottom the ability, we introduce your loan officer, have their branding, and they can toggle from one loan officer to another if you have multiple loan officers. But it's a soft way to introduce that lending service. They can ask questions through our interface. They can get pre-approved. If the loan officer does have a digital pre-approval process, we can add that link directly on the display. So it gets that ball rolling again up front when they're looking at the property. You want to probably know that your buyers are pre-approved before you get in the car and go out and show them properties. So this is a great way to get that ball rolling with your lenders. But obviously the benefits to the home buyer are getting those insights into home affordability. We're bringing not only vanilla mortgage products such as the 30-year or the 15-year or 5/1 ARM, but we are also capable of introducing special financing that the property may be eligible for. That's going to be the bigger programs out there like FHA. That's 3.5% down. We'll know if the property is eligible for that. Obviously, if it's a veteran, we'll know we'll be able to display VA pricing. We do also, if you're in a more rural area and USDA financing is available, that's a great option because it's 100% financing. So we will know that because of the data feed we get from the MLS and our back-end system of looking at census tracts and things of that nature. So we can display those special financing programs on these listings as well to help those first-time home buyers that don't have a large down payment, or people that have maybe good income but they haven't saved a lot. They know options of different programs that are available to them. So again, they can kind of interact with it and customize it, ask questions, and begin that relationship with your lenders through the MLS display. Loan officers who partner with you on this, they're obviously benefiting by being displayed on listings that are coming from the MLS. I was a loan officer for 10 years here in Illinois, and I would have loved to have had this tie-in as opposed to the old school way of waiting for an agent to give a business card out and get a call from the buyer. You're kind of getting that introduction and the ability to start interacting with that buyer electronically through our displays. The realtor benefits you get some control over the transaction. You're controlling what lenders are being exposed to your buyers. Too often you hear of people doing a Google search for rates, and then who knows what rabbit hole that brings them down as far as the reputation of the lender and so forth. And you would tell your homeowners that when they're looking at listings, your lender's information is being shared, and you trust that lender to provide them with good service. So you're endorsing that lender and hopefully getting them using that lender so you can work collaboratively with that loan officer to get this deal closed. So that is the MLS side of it. Again, very simple. It goes out in the MLS listings you're sending to your buyers. As I did mention, if you are using one of the other systems, whether it's Paragon or Flex, we do have an integration, a little bit different, but the same flavors, where it's going to show mortgage information on the listings you are sharing with your buyers. So the second part of this that's included is marketing. Flyer systems are obviously a dime a dozen. Everybody has them. Where ours differs is that since we already have the MLS data feed, that we get from Northstar every day, we're going to have the listing information. And if your lenders are participating with you, we will have their mortgage rates and products in our system as well. So it allows for a very quick creation of a marketing flyer for your listings. A couple different flavors are available. The one in the middle is what we kind of call our legacy or printable flyers that can be printed out, thrown on a kitchen table. This is just one design layout. You can change the colors to match your logo. There's different layouts, different numbers of pictures and things of that nature that are available. You would work with your loan officer to determine which one of those options works best for you. The one on the left is what we call our virtual or our digital flyer. This we created back during the COVID time because people were not interfacing in person. This was a great way to send your listing information out to buyers via text or email. It's all digital, meaning that they can use this as a resource to come back to if they open it on a Tuesday and want to go back in and share it with their husband or wife on a Thursday. It's going to update all the information for the property and the mortgage information. It's all interactive as far as the payment scenario, just like the MLS listing data that I showed you earlier. It can calculate and change things and contact the loan officer, ask questions. You're both branded on here. You and the loan officers that you work with would be branded on this. So it's a great digital option to send to your buyers. And the third option over on the right, I'm kind of jumping around, is what we call our QR code flyer. This is great if you're having an open house for one of your listings. And if somebody drives down the street, sees the sign, and they hadn't registered to come into the open house and they walk in, if you had this out displayed, all they'd have to do is take a picture of that QR code with their phone, and they would get that digital flyer on the left automatically on their phone. So it'd give them a little bit of time to review that, and then we would ask them for some contact information so we can collect that person's information that attended your open house for you as well. So though this comes with the system, it's all included. Everything I'm showing you here today is free, which is great. It's free to you as an agent as part of your MLS membership. It's just a benefit of your MLS subscription. In addition to the MLS displays that I showed you first, the marketing flyers that you would have as well, you do get a couple alerts, we call them, where we would notify you on different features of your listings. These are a little blurry. I apologize for that, but I'll describe what these are. First one will be whenever you list a property, we'll know that because we do get that data feed from the MLS. So we would automatically send you that digital flyer that I showed you just a second ago. So you would have that automatically to send out to your buyers to share the information. The second one is what we call our special financing alert. This lets you know if you list a property, if your listing is eligible for those different programs that I mentioned, whether it's VA, USDA, FHA, if there's a local CRA program, Community Reinvestment Act program that we have in our system, that would funnel through here as well. Now, some of you might use DPA, down payment assistance. That's a competitor of ours, but not really, we're not competing head to head. That we consider that a very complementary system because they tend to specialize more on the local bonds and grants and things like that. Ours are the kind of the big four programs: FHA, VA, USDA, and some of the bigger CRA programs. So we can work in tandem with them, but knowing that your listing is eligible for special financing, it's just another tool to have if you're talking to a younger buyer or first-time home buyer and they're nervous about being able to afford something. You can let them know this property does have some different avenues that they can go down to explore the special financing, get lower down payments, even zero if it's a USDA eligible program that they can look into and connect with that loan. So we just want to let you know that up front so you can share that information if you choose to do so. So just to kind of recap before we go into the Q&A session, again, there's no additional cost for you guys to participate. That big asterisk there, we want to be fully transparent. While we do not charge you or the broker to participate, we do need to pay for our electricity and our services. So we do charge the lenders that apply to be displayed on the MLS. As I did mention, I was a loan officer and would gladly use this service to be able to be promoted within the MLS to my agents' buyers. The loan officer can work with multiple agents for one annual fee. It's $468 a year. They can sign up with 20 agents. So it's very economical, no additional cost to that. And they get different benefits as well. They'll get the displays within the MLS. They get obviously the access to the flyer system to create those flyers on your behalf. And we also do provide them with some alerts in your collaboration, letting them know when you list a property so they can reach out and offer their service to any buyers that might be coming through. So again, from a loan officer perspective, there's no other tool that gets them access to the MLS sphere like RatePlug does. So they'll be very happy to participate with you in this. Second bullet, hopefully I've been able to display how having access to affordability information and payment information when they're looking at homes should begin that brain gears moving as far as, can I afford this? What questions do I need to have answered from my loan officer? Oh, there's a chat button here, or I can reach out and talk to the LO, or I can request a pre-approval. That part of the information is very important for your buyer to have access to. Third bullet, again, is very crucial because you never have to worry about some lender you don't know being promoted to your buyers. That's a cherished relationship that we want to protect. So we're only going to display the lenders that you've given us and that have chosen to elect to participate in the program with you. And property flyers are included, the static, virtual, QR code. And kind of last but not least, kind of behind the scenes, but it's no less important, is the compliance aspect of RatePlug. A lot of guidelines come out all the time. I can remember back when there was what they called the FTC map ruling, which meant that if you were sharing property information that had any type of payment displays in it, you had to store that image or whatever you're sharing with the buyer for 6 years in case there's ever any scrutiny. A lot of people may not even know that, but that was an actual regulation, and people aren't set up for that. You aren't set to store all the stuff you've sent out. We do all that on your behalf. So we protect you, the brokerage, and the loan officer by taking a snapshot of any listing that has RatePlug information on it. Any flyer that's generated, we'll store that image and we're better to be safe than sorry. We'll store that for 10 years. So if there is ever any type of discrepancy, you're backed up with that support from us on that end. And again, that bullet down at the bottom is that doesn't cost you guys anything or the broker to participate, but we would be charging your lenders to be displayed on your listings you're sending. So one thing I want to clear up before we get into questions, because this always comes up, so maybe it'll help if I answer it now. As I mentioned, you can have multiple lenders. If you give us 3 lenders, we'll reach out and try to get all 3 signed up. And we can share that display space with those lenders. RatePlug goes out with your lenders on every listing you share. So it doesn't have to be your listing. If you're sharing 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes in a specific town and there's 25 properties that match that search criteria, every one of those listings you send to your buyer will have your lender's information on it. So it's all dictated by the agent that goes into the system and sends out the listings. So you don't have to worry about some other agent's lenders being displayed. It's only yours. So last but not least, next steps. As I mentioned, we have a landing page set up where if you want to get more information, it's this rateplug.com/NorthstarMLS. If you go on there, you can go through, there's a video, there's some frequently asked questions, things of that nature. There's a bunch of green calls to action throughout the page that start here, learn more. If you click on those, you can begin the enrolling process to onboard into the program. Just takes a couple minutes. All you have to do is enter your Northstar MLS agent ID. We'll populate a form with your information that we have from the roster provided by Northstar MLS. You would tell us the lender or lenders that you want to have displayed. All you'd have to give us is their name, their company, and their email address. Hit submit, and that's all you need to do. We'll take the ball from there. We'll reach out to your lenders, explain that you've opted into the program and you'd like them to be the lender to share their information with your buyers, and get them set up, get them trained, get them up, get the programs up and running in our system, and then you're off and running. When you send out those listings, that RatePlug payment information and those flyers and so forth would begin flowing on your behalf. So that's it. It's a pretty simple program. Again, I'll leave this up here for just a second while we go into any questions. Here's the URL to that landing page, as well as an email down at the bottom there. If you have questions and you want to reach out to us, you can reach us at support@rateplug.com. So why don't we at this point open it up to any questions that might have come in?